Hi, I'm Ed, and today I'm working on my Honda Pioneer and the on the 1000-5s, and I believe also on some of the other ones. Honda installs these goofy little accessory switches, but they don't actually have them wired to really do a whole lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and be going through and making these switches right here, actually usable. So got a little wiring harness I'm going to be showing off and showing how to get that all connected and make it really, really easy.
All right, so just to be clear, the factory switches that Honda provides, they're installed in the dash, but all they do is they're just basic switches. They're labeled as pre-wired, but all they do is they kind of just go up underneath the dash, and then they go to a dummy harness, which basically just loops over itself, and then doesn't go anywhere. So because it's not wired for power, it's not, it doesn't have pigtails included. There's nothing there. There's obviously something missing in order to be able to do anything with these switches. The switches themselves are also limited to 3 amps of power. It doesn't make it super useful for these switches. However, if you're doing something like maybe some rock lights or a dome light or stuff like that, these switches are absolutely perfect, and they're already on your dashboard. So obviously there's a harness that's missing, that we need to go ahead and add. So here is what we have. We have this guy. This is a switch harness converter. This is from Honda sidebyside.com. And so what this does is it connects in. Let me go ahead and show you the master electrical diagram. So obviously you have your ACC key on going to some sort of a stinger unit. It's obviously feeding power off your battery, which goes to your fuse block. That's your standard setup for most of your accessories. If you're not running that, that's fine. You can run this straight to your battery as well, but you normally want to go ahead and run an independent fuse block for any of your accessories. Moving on, what this particular harness does is really, really cool, because electrically everything inside this little blue checkered box, that's what this cable does. So I'm only showing one accessory on this for simplistic purposes, but it basically creates a mini bus for your power, splits the power across the different connectors, and then pushes that towards the switches. So that way the switches will actually turn power on and off, and then the return of that will send it down through the connector and then out a pigtail for you. So there's 3 pigtails that are provided on this. So that way you can go ahead and connect that to your accessory. So on this case, I'm going to go and connect it to a dome light, and then the other wire, which is going to be the green wire, is going to be my ground, and then within that harness, that wire is going to come back, and that is going to be going to my ground connection. So it just makes it really, really easy. I'll go ahead and show you. Again, the same thing. This is what it looks like electrically, and I'm calling this the missing cable, because obviously Honda neglected to include any of this, because I have no idea, but they wanted you to use their proprietary switches but didn't provide the cable. Okay, here's the instructions that comes with this. It talks about locating these little connectors inside the little blue ball of mess underneath the dash. Take that basically apart, and then remove those connectors with that loop. And then it also just talks about what each side of the pigtail is really used for, and how to implement that. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the install right here. The first thing here is to obviously go ahead and unfurl this, and then on one side of this is going to be my supply that's going to be attaching to my fuse block. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to go ahead and have to attach some eye hole, some of these guys, sorry, to the end of that, and that's gonna be my prep. So here's the parts that are going to be going into those connectors that I'm pulling off right there, and then this wire right here. This is where I'm going to be connecting to my fuse block for my positive and my negative. All right, so to gain access into the factory plugs, I'm going to go ahead and start taking apart this big old blue blob of mess. This is located just above where the port is, or the big old cavity for where a second battery would normally go. Okay, so after you've unbundled that big blue blob, here are the connectors. I'm going to go ahead and pop the little loops off. These are what goes to the switches. I've arranged these already to go ahead and show you. So the green and gray is switch number 3. So I'm looking at this from the back. I'm going to go ahead and probably write up a neat little diagram and kind of show you what these cables look like, and so it's a little bit easier to understand. But the middle one is going to be your yellow purple, and then the one all the way, and then number 1, which is going to be from the driver's side when you're sitting down. The one all the way to the left is going to be your brown and blue. So again, I'll go ahead and draw this up so it's a little bit easier to understand. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pop those little connectors off. All right, so removing the connectors is pretty easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at, so I want to use this first guy right here. So I'm going to go ahead and reach in here with some sort of a pin. There's this little tab here. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. And then so while pulling this little tab up, I can just go ahead and pop that out. And that's what we want to remove. Thank you, Honda. Okay. So just a little protective, just to kind of keep all the junk and crap out of it. So now from here, what I can do is I can go ahead and take this neat little harness, and the first thing I can do is I can go ahead and connect in one of these guys. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and just grab this one right here. Now, if I follow this guy back with the yellow, okay, there's the one with the yellow. So now I have this pigtail, this loose one. So now this is the one that's going to go for my supply for my accessory. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And then the other one that comes off of this bundle here, I've already put my little connectors on here. This is what I'm going to go ahead and attach to my fuse block. So my positive are red and my ground is my green. Okay. All right, so I got everything hooked up to my fuse block here. I'm gonna go ahead and just zap these with the heat gun. These are heat shrink tubes, so that with waterproofing and a little thing of solder on there that reacts to the heat gun. So go ahead and take care of this. Okay, I got my accessory wired in here. Got it spliced and heat shrunk. Got the rest of the cable here, so I only have one out of the 3 connectors hooked in. So I'm only using this one. So the other ones are just kind of free floating in here. But considering they're not hooked in, they're not going to have any power. So I'm not really worried about that for right now. I'm just going to just sitting in here for testing purposes, and go ahead and see how this works. Okay, so here we go, just testing out this here again. I'm hooked up to the first accessory switch, and now that I have my dome light hooked up to this, I hit this, and now I have dome light illuminating everything within the cab. That's perfect. So now I'm using the Honda factory auxiliary switches, using that harness from HondaSideBySide.com, and I have usable switches. How awesome is that? Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. If it was, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I also have some other videos from other tutorials. By the way, this particular harness came from HondaSideBySide.com, so go ahead and check that out. All the links and descriptions are down below for anything that I talk about during my videos, and I'm happy as could be. I have working switches. Yay! Happy riding.